I got my first real job at 35 years old, and I didn't start investing until I was 37. For years, I felt like I had completely failed at money. Everywhere I looked, Instagram, YouTube, I made my first million at 22, I retired at 28, and I'm sitting here at 37 just starting, thinking, I have wasted my entire life and I am so far behind that I'll never catch up. And the weirdest part is that on paper, I was actually doing everything right. I had savings, I paid off my student loans, I paid my bills on time, but none of that mattered because I still felt this constant crushing anxiety that I wasn't doing enough. The truth is, the problem isn't your money or how late you started. We've all been measuring financial success completely wrong. We're all playing a game designed to make us feel like we're losing so that we can work harder, spend everything, and repeat on this vicious cycle. No break, no life, no freedom. So over the last few years, working on my own finances and helping thousands of other people, I have noticed something. The people who feel the most behind are often the ones who are actually the furthest ahead. So today, I want to share with you 4 signs that show you're doing well financially. And if you recognize even one of these signs, you are already ahead of 80% of the people. So give yourself some grace. Sign number 1, you're not playing the status game. Have you ever caught yourself scrolling past someone else's luxury vacation, whispering to yourself, how do they afford all of this? There are 2 games that you can play with your money. The first is the status game. For example, I buy a Porsche. That only boosts my status if you don't have one. But if everyone does, it means nothing. So in this game, you're constantly using other people as measuring stick. But the problem is, for someone to win this game, someone else has to lose. It makes you competitive, anxious, always trying to feel ahead. But did you know that you can also buy that Porsche and take that luxury vacation, but you only have to extend your mortgage by 20 years, max out your credit card, or take a loan that you will pay off for the next decade? Because that's what a lot of people are doing. Real wealth grows quietly. It is built from small daily choices that compound over years, not loan-funded shopping sprees and looking good on social media. I read a book, The Millionaire Next Door, and that book said, wealth is not the same as income. If you make a good income and spend it all, you are not getting wealthier. You're just living a lot high. Now, the second game is the wealth game. This is what's happening behind the scenes. Money invested into assets, having your emergency fund, the business that you're building, money you spend on learning, on accumulating knowledge, things giving you positive return and buying your freedom. If you stop comparing yourself to the highlight reels and track your spending, question some subscription, choose a reliable car over a flashy one, you are playing the wealth game. Because the status game is just a movie trailer. It shows the best part and leaves the rest out. Once you get that, you realize you're doing far better than you think. You've stopped measuring your worth by what people see and start measuring it by the freedom that you are building for yourself. Sign number 2. You have emergency fund and you live below your means. Some of my clients would say, I only have $1,000 saved. That's nothing. But did you know that 60% of people in the US cannot cover $1,000 unexpected expense without borrowing? Now, if you have even 1 month of expenses saved, you are already ahead of nearly half the population. Think of that cushion as the fence around your financial castle. Life surprises us, flat tires, medical bills, even layoffs. When your paycheck stops, panic begins. But if you have 3 to 6 months of your basic necessities set aside, you own something most people don't, and that is time. Time to job hunt carefully, time to negotiate a salary offer, time to breathe. Research shows that our friends and peers influence how we evaluate financial success more than the society. I met an old college friend at a party once, and she's very successful, driving a Ferrari. We got talking and she said to me, I always feel like I am the poorest millionaire in the room. She was serious because she looked really sad. So that made me understand that we measure success based on those around us. If your friends earn, let's say, 100K a year and you earn $80,000, you feel very dissatisfied. But if that was reversed, you would feel content. It's not about the number, it's about comparison. Living below your means is powerful because you create a gap between what you earn and what you spend. That gap, not your salary, that gap is the engine to your freedom. Every unspent dollar becomes a seed that can sprout dividends, rental incomes, or business equity for decades. Every time you make a decision to spend less, these small decisions widen that gap. So the average American has over $32,000 in debt just to protect their lifestyle. So if you save, have an emergency fund, pay your bills on time without debt, you are way ahead. Now, does knowing this make you feel better? Probably not. That's because of loss aversion. When I started at 35, very late, I wish I had someone to walk me through this. Someone who could say, here is what you're doing right, or this is where you can make improvement. That is why I'm offering free one-on-one coaching calls. If you are confused about where you stand, sometimes you need someone to help you see what you cannot see. The link is in the description. And because it's free, the spot fills up so fast. Now, let me show you why loss aversion changes everything. Sign number 3. Understanding loss aversion. This is the sign that changed everything for me. Loss aversion says the pain of losing is psychologically twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining. If you found $100, you'll be so thrilled, so happy. But if you lost $100, your pain would be far bigger than the initial joy. This applies to how we view financial success. We can outperform 99% of people around us. But if even one person in our circle appears to be doing way better, we question our entire success. Without knowing this, we keep ourselves in this never-ending cycle of discontent. As we make more money, so does our peer group, and so does the benchmark. The benchmark keeps going higher and higher and higher because there's always a bigger mountain, a richer millionaire, a nicer Range Rover. It is a bottomless pit if you want to keep playing the game of trying to one-up somebody else. When your goal is poorly defined, for example, I want to be successful or I want to be rich, it becomes too big and too vague. Studies show when you're competing in a massive arena, you become a less effective competitor. It's called the N effect. For example, in football, it's just 2 teams. In tennis, 2 to 4 players. But financial performance, you're playing against everyone, everywhere, all the time. You can do great by all metrics and still feel very terrible with your result because your definition of success is too big and too vague. Research also shows that to really change a behavior, you need an intrinsic motivator, something bigger than I want to be rich. For example, I cannot compete financially with the whole world because the arena is too big, but I can compete with myself. Set goals intrinsic to me. For example, build my first 100K portfolio. Clear my debt so I can start investing. These goals have meaning because they are mine. They're related directly to me. When you shift from outside goals, be richer than everyone, to intrinsic goals, build the life that I actually want, everything changes. Look at yourself. You're not where you were last year or last 5 years. You have made incredible progress. You've learned a lot of things, implemented a lot of things, and changed a lot in your life. But when you compare that to the world, it looks like you've done nothing. So focus on your progress because it sets you free from expectations. It gives you the freedom to stop playing a game where other people make the rules for you. Sign number 4, your net worth is trending upward. Year after year, your net worth climbs up. Even if the climb feels very slow and very shaky, that is a lot of progress. You don't need a 6-figure portfolio to be on track. Most people don't have that until they are closer to retirement. It's so funny how a 30-year-old wants to have a result of a 70-year-old who has had about 40 years of investing. So what matters isn't the size, it's the habit. If you've started investing, even if it's $50 a paycheck, you've taken the most important step. You have started. That's the most important. The lower you keep your expenses and the more consistent you invest, the faster you reach the crossover point where work becomes optional. Every $1,000 you add buys another slice of your future freedom. Even modest automatic contributions engage the compound interest magic. The longer the money sits, the harder it works for you. Imagine a $50 weekly investment growing to tens of thousands over your career period. So what you do is you keep raising the percentage every time you get raises and bonuses. That's what I used to do. Anytime I have a raise or a bonus, I just move it into investment. Consistency and time builds financial freedom. If you are paying yourself first, setting aside 10%, 20%, 30% before bills, you're treating savings like rent that you owe to your future self. Statistics show that 1 in 3 adults has zero in savings. So you are way ahead. Give yourself some grace. Now, in closing, where does this leave you? If you have stopped playing the status game, have an emergency fund, live below your means, and your net worth points upward, you're not only doing well, you are quietly building wealth that would give you choices others can only dream about. These 4 signs share a theme. You're steering your money instead of letting outside pressure steer your money for you. This is something that I wish someone had told me at 35, that momentum is more important than magnitude. So 1 year from now, you will realize the quiet action you took today have multiplied. 5 years from now, your investment may work harder than you do. And 10 years from now, you might wake up in a paid off home, choose projects that you love, while the same people who seemed ahead are still stuck in the status race. Wealth whispers. It shows up as peace, as options, as mornings with your family instead of doing jobs that you hate at 70 years old. I started late. I felt so behind, compared myself to everyone, and it nearly broke me. So here is what I learned. You're not racing anyone but yourself. The moment you stop measuring success by someone else's highlight reels and start measuring it by the life you're building for yourself, everything changes. If you are thinking, this makes sense, but I don't know if I'm on the right track for my situation, I get it. That's exactly how I felt when I started. That's why I'm offering a free one-on-one coaching call, something I wish I had. We'll look at where you are, what you're doing well that you can't see, and the 1 or 2 moves that will make the biggest difference for you. It's the clarity I wish I had when I started so late. It would have saved me a lot of time and a whole lot of money. This coaching call is free, but the spots fill up very fast because it's free. The link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.